Some people say that a simple conversation can change your life. For me, it turned into a nightmare. I was 21 years old and home from college for the summer. What started as an ordinary visit to a local bagel shop soon became one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. One morning, I stopped by my usual bagel shop near my house. As I was paying for my order, I accidentally dropped a handful of coins onto the floor. Embarrassed, I immediately bent down to pick them up. Before I could, one of the employees rushed from behind the counter to help me. He looked to be around 24 or 25 years old. While we gathered the coins, I noticed he had an injured finger. I asked what happened. He explained that he had dislocated it while playing rugby. We talked for less than a minute, just a completely harmless conversation. I paid for my food, wished him a good day, and left. At least, I thought that would be the end of it. Later that afternoon, I checked my Instagram notifications. Someone had started following me. Without thinking, I clicked the profile. The moment I saw the picture, my stomach dropped. It was him, the employee from the bagel shop. I was confused. How did he find me? I had never told him my name. I removed him from my followers and tried to forget about it. 30 minutes later, he followed me again. Then a message appeared. He said he hoped it wasn't weird that he found my Instagram. And then he said something that immediately made me uncomfortable. He couldn't stop thinking about me. I blocked him instantly. Unfortunately, blocking him only made things worse. The next day, he created another account. Then another. And another. Soon, he had found all of my social media profiles. Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, even my dating profiles. My phone exploded with notifications, hundreds of likes, dozens of messages. At first, the messages seemed desperate. Then they became angry. He demanded answers. He wanted to know why I wasn't replying, why I kept blocking him, why I wouldn't talk to him. The more I ignored him, the more obsessed he became. One evening, after theater rehearsal, I walked outside toward my car. The parking lot was dark, almost empty. As I approached my vehicle, I noticed movement near the driver's side. Someone appeared to be standing there. I froze. Fear instantly took over. I turned around and ran back inside the building. One of the stage managers stayed with me and offered to walk me to my car. When we finally reached it, I saw something that confirmed my worst fears. 2 clear handprints were pressed against my driver's side window. I hadn't imagined it. Someone really had been there, and I knew exactly who it was. Then I realized how he found me. My Instagram stories. I had reposted information about the theater production. He used that information to locate me. From that moment forward, I changed everything. I stopped posting my location. I changed my routes. I stopped visiting the bagel shop. I warned my workplace. I warned the theater staff, but none of it mattered. His messages became more aggressive. He complained that I stopped visiting the shop. He asked where I had gone. He even mentioned places I normally visited. That was when I realized something horrifying. He wasn't just watching me online. He was watching me in real life. Opening weekend finally arrived. After one performance, a cast member approached me backstage. Someone had left flowers for me. At first, I assumed it was a friend. Then I read the note. My blood ran cold. It was from him. The note mentioned my workplace. My parking habits. The stage manager who walked me to my car. He knew everything, and he wanted me to know that he knew. I immediately reported everything to theater management An emergency meeting was called. The man was permanently banned from the theater. Every ticket he had purchased was canceled. And shortly afterward, I began filing for a restraining order. I haven't heard from him since. But even now, I still think about how a 30-second conversation with a stranger nearly turned into something much worse. Sometimes, the scariest people aren't hiding in the shadows. They're standing right in front of you. Story 3. When I was 19 years old, alone would give me freedom. Independence. Peace. Instead, it became one of the most disturbing experiences of my life. For the first few months, everything seemed normal. I worked long hours at a restaurant and spent most of my time either working or relaxing at home. Then one day, I came home and immediately felt that something was wrong. Not that someone was there, but that someone had been there. As I entered my living room, I noticed large muddy footprints covering the carpet. The footprints led directly into my kitchen. I searched the entire apartment. Nobody was there. Nothing had been stolen, which somehow made it even creepier. I called the leasing office. No maintenance. Workers had entered my apartment. There was no explanation. Over the following weeks, more strange things started happening. A water bottle I knew was sealed would suddenly be opened. The thermostat would be turned up to the highest setting. Objects would be moved around. Every time I told someone about it, they dismissed it. My friends said I was being paranoid. Maybe I forgot. Maybe I was imagining things. Eventually, I started questioning myself. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was losing my mind. Then one night, everything changed. I returned home from work around 11 o'clock. As I approached my apartment door, I noticed it was slightly open. Not wide open, just enough to know it wasn't locked. I froze. I knew I had locked it before leaving. That was the moment I stopped doubting myself. Someone had definitely been inside. I decided to conduct an experiment. Every time I left my apartment, I placed a small piece of clear tape across the bottom of the door. If anyone opened it, the tape would move. The results terrified me. Every single time I came home, the tape was disturbed. Someone was entering my apartment regularly, and they weren't stealing anything. At least, not yet. Soon, things became even worse. I would leave for only a few minutes. To check my mail. To take out the trash. To visit the leasing office. And when I returned, my door would be open again. That's when I realized something horrifying. This person wasn't randomly breaking in. They were watching me. Watching my schedule, watching my movements. Waiting for me to leave. Fear slowly turned into anger. I filed police reports, but without evidence. There wasn't much they could do. Months later, I came home one afternoon and immediately noticed something different. My gaming system was gone. Several electronics were missing. For the first time, I had proof. Someone had really been entering my apartment. The police took another report. My friends finally believed me. And although I was angry about the theft, I felt relieved. At least now I knew I wasn't crazy. I eventually moved out and tried to leave the experience behind. 4 years later, after getting married, I moved back into the same apartment complex. One day, a maintenance worker stopped me. He asked if I had once lived in a specific apartment. Then he told me something I had waited years to hear. A former maintenance worker had recently been arrested. He had been secretly entering women's apartments. Suddenly, everything made sense. He had access to master keys. He lived directly across from me. Every time I left my apartment, he knew. Every time I went to work, he knew. Every time I checked my mail, he knew. For months, a stranger had been secretly entering my home. Asterisk, to this day, I still think about what could have happened. The stolen electronics didn't scare me. The muddy footprints didn't scare me. What truly scares me is knowing that someone had unrestricted access to my apartment for months, and I never knew when he was inside. Trust your instincts, because sometimes that feeling that something isn't right might be the only warning you get.